Hi, welcome to VRChat Dev Labs. We at VRChat have been hard at work on some very interesting avatar tech that we'd like to show you. We call that avatar dynamics. Avatar dynamics does a whole bunch of things that the community has really been wanting to see for a long time. Specifically, avatar-to-avatar interaction, being able to do things like touching yourself or touching other people.
So here's some other fun stuff you can do. You can grab and stretch characters, and then you can leave them in position.
Ah, hello.
You can, there you go, smash his nose down. There you go.
I don't know that is.
Yeah, so same thing with his ears, and you can pin your ears back. Hang on. There you go. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. We've had a ton of fun in the lab, basically, playing around with this. And we, something we've wanted to do for a really long time. We know it's one of the #1 suggested things for VR chat from our community. And, once we open the box of goodies, we've just gone really far with it. And I think, they were just showing you the tip of the iceberg here, some of the things we're considering doing. I can grab my hair and, pin it up. Here, check out his tail, too. Here, let me grab your tail. Grab your tail. There you go. There you go. Nice new tail pose for you.
So yeah, to give you a sort of inside look into what's going on here, you can see the avatar little debug menu that we have built in here, where you can see all the colliders in game. This has been really critical to us, but we also think will help avatar developers when working with their specific avatars. So some really interesting features that we actually have going on here is we've completely rewritten the math of how this works, and we've paid special attention to get some really interesting dynamics going on that you really couldn't achieve with our previous system. Here you have full ability to actually animate it while it's being physical, which is, I think, something that people will quite enjoy. So one of the more tedious tasks with building avatars that people always had to do with our previous system is that you had to define all of your hand colliders on the avatar itself. Here we've actually implemented the colliders on the hand automatically for any avatar that gets loaded. This allows anyone to interact with any other avatar that might have triggers, such as a hand collider or a boop collider.
I do this.
So here's an example of an SDK2 avatar, and our system is actually building the avatar colliders right onto the hand. This allows this avatar to interact with any avatar that might have sort of triggers on itself. This would also allow an avatar like this to end up interacting with it, even though it was never built for that. I think that this will open up a wide range of possibilities of people interacting with each other that wasn't possible before.
So obviously all this stuff is pretty cool, but you don't want someone just, grabbing your mouth and pulling it down without you, wanting them to do that, or repositioning your hair, or high-fiving by accident. So there is going to be a permission system that works alongside this. We're not ready to get into that yet, but we will in the near future.
So first, let's talk about the obvious one. I saw a bunch of people asking about that. That was totally dynamic bones, right?
No, not at all. That is our new system. It is under the umbrella of Avatar Dynamics. That specifically is called Physics Bones, and that is a system that we wrote from the ground up to basically replace dynamic bones.
Awesome. So Physics Bones, I'm going to go ahead and go out there. Not a final title. None of these titles we're giving them are final, aside from Avatar Dynamics. I like that one. Let's stick with that one.
That's what we're calling it internally.
Yeah. So I do also want to add that Physics Bones is included with our SDK. You don't need to purchase it. It's not an extra asset. If you import the Avatar's SDK, you just get it. It's there. It is a little similar in how you use it, though, right? If I know how to use dynamic bones, then
Yeah, so the underlying math of it is pretty, it's a different model underneath, but the exposed parameters are similar enough that anyone who's used dynamic bones in the past would be right at home with physics bones.
Well, awesome. One thing I'm going to kind of go through a little bit. I see a lot of questions on this, so let's get to the point here. Unlike dynamic bones, physics bones is super optimized. Let's go ahead and show the performance test video really quick. This is just a graphic. I'm going to say words, and I'm going to need you to listen to them. Dynamic bones is a huge performance hog. We know about this, right? The video you're watching is of physics bones running. Physics bones is tons faster. This scene, if you ran it with dynamic bones, you would be spending about 5 milliseconds per frame out of 11 milliseconds to hit 90 FPS just to run dynamic bones. In comparison, this scene with VRChat physics bones takes 0.45 milliseconds. It is a 10 times increase in or improvement in the performance of just getting secondary motion. I realize also that the performance, like, they don't look the same, they don't act the same as dynamic bones. We'll get to that in a moment. Don't worry, I see you. This means a couple of things. First off, you get to squeeze more in. We're going to adjust the performance rank for secondary motion, or physics bones in this case, so that you can fit more in. Probably not a full times 10, because whatever number we increase it by, you guys are just going to fill it up to the brim as soon as we put it in.
Of course they will.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. We'll play with it a little bit. Second off, this means that we get to play with the notion of having this on Quest, because Quest is pretty CPU constrained, but if you're not running something that's CPU heavy, then yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, is there anything else you want to add on for the performance part before I move on?
Yeah, so, I mean, there's been a great effort to try to actually get this as performant as possible. We're still working on trying to eke out some frames here and there, but all of this has been possible because we wrote up the physics solver from the ground up. And it also, we wrote this using the job system, meaning that it's a multi-threaded process. So if you have a computer with a lot of cores, it will use every single one of them, depending on how many bones are in scene at any point in time. So your how much you gain all depends on what computer hardware you currently have.
Yeah, exactly. You heard it here first. VRChat finally multi-core. We've been multi-core the whole time. That's a bad joke. Don't listen to me. Anyway,
yeah, don't say that.
So I also wanted to ask you, I have a couple of friends, as there are a couple of characters and avatars in VRChat that have tails on the character, just like one or two, right? It's a real pain to make those wag, but then also at the same time have, like, secondary motion to have. You can't do that with dynamic bones, not easily. What about with this?
No. So with dynamic bones, if someone wanted to animate like a tail or ears or wings or hair, they'd either have to mess around with something with a constraint system, or they'd have to just animate the root bone. Dynamic bones just sort of stayed in place of wherever the avatar loaded in. With physics bones, you actually have the capability of animating it, the entire chain, and it will physically solve to wherever you tell it to be.
Very nice. Well, that makes a lot of things easier. In fact, I could probably mess around with that with my wings. That would be kind of cool. So moving on from that system, actually, hold on. There's another part of this system. I skipped a paragraph. Another part of our R&D with physics bones in particular was seeing how feasible it was to do a replacement in real time, at runtime, of dynamic bones with physics bones. Because it would be so nice to get rid of dynamic bones forever and ever and forget it ever existed, right? So we have this video here that you can see on the, how is this set up? On the left is dynamic bones, and on the right is physics bones. Now, they don't look exactly the same, and the reason, just like they did before, because we don't have gravity and we don't have forces in just yet. But this is an automatic replacement, right? Like, this isn't, we didn't rebuild this.
Oh,
is that
yeah.
correct?
No, well, we built the system that ended up converting them over. But yeah, one of our R&D efforts here is basically to see how well we can actually just replace dynamic bones in the system with the more performant physics bones. Obviously, since the math is different, it's not exactly the same, but so far the results have actually been pretty promising.
Nice. Well, my dream will continue to live on. One day I will be able to, someone will ask me how to put dynamic bones on my avatar, and my answer will be, I don't know what you're talking about. One day. So we're not quite sure we're going to do the automatic replacement. We're pretty sure we want to, like, really, really bad, because it would make things easier. But not ready to make the call just yet.
we have to think about if that's going to be an option or, you know, it's in design.
Yeah. As Ron said at the beginning of the stream, a lot of these things are in design. We're opening the book, and with that kind of comes the asterisk next to everything. So let's move on a little bit. Physics Bones is super exciting, but there were some other interesting things in that video.
Yeah.
I saw that Ron was able to like boop your nose and tap you on the top of the head and that kind of thing, and stuff was happening. What is that? What's going on?
All right. So something else that people have always wanted to be able to do is be able to actually like interact with other people and have them respond with animations or particle flicks or sound effects. And so what we've added is we have this system that we call avatar triggers, internally at least. The name may change. And the idea is that every avatar has a number of colliders and triggers that can be defined, and those can interact with either yourself locally and or with people remotely. It works very similar, I would say, to the expression menus, where whenever a trigger ends up happening, it modifies an animation control parameter, and then that parameter can do whatever you want.
Awesome. Well, that's I already kind of want to take the off button here. I always have people coming up trying to push the button and, well, probably power me down or something. I'm not quite sure. I can actually have that do something now, if I'm understanding correctly. Oh, geez, great. So there's even more, I think, that we're working on just other than that. Oh, also, actually, I wanted to call out specifically. It kind of works both ways, right? Like, technically, I get it, but logically, or I guess as a concept, I didn't get it till I saw the hammer, and I was like, oh, it goes both ways. Like, you can actually, like, hit stuff
and that's
on
one
people
of
and does things. Yeah.
As we're explaining in the video, one of the things that we're doing is that we're putting colliders automatically on avatars' hands and their head. We're exploring other potential body parts as well, but this allows basically an avatar that, like the alien, who was never set up to be interacted with in that way, can automatically have other avatars.
Did someone say alien?
Yeah,
there we go.
You woke
Where's
up.
the hammer? Just bonk him.
All right.
Yeah, we're not in the right build, unfortunately. No bonks here. So there's even more that we're working on for Avatar Dynamics. It's kind of our big old name for all of these types of systems that allow us to do things with avatars. There's one other thing that's kind of half Avatar and half something else, and I think I want you to go ahead and introduce and talk about that if you don't mind. I think we have some videos as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So some of the other things that we've been exploring is not only avatar to avatar interactions, but avatar to world interactions. With a video, I assuming is up right now. Basically, here is where the automatic hand colliders are interacting with physical objects in the world. This is something that we're not exactly sure how this would all roll out in the SDK of how you'd end up defining all of these things. But if we do actually put it in there, it would allow now people to create all sorts of interesting physical objects that any avatar can interact with without any sort of setup.
Nice. So this is more of a, you don't have to set anything up for this. It just works magically.
Nope.
It's just
absolutely
wonderful.
Just part of the client.
Very nice. I think there's also some other stuff you wanted to show off about, like interacting with things, other than just pushing blocks off of a table, which is very nice. But
well, yeah, it's very fun. But no, another system that we have, or at least that we've been looking into, is small interaction systems. Basically, right now, if people are familiar with building worlds or avatars, that we have the VRC pickup component, and that allows you to basically, pick up an object and interact with it, throw it. And that gets used everywhere. But there's a lot of other types of interactions that honestly we could provide components for that would actually make that simpler. So in the video, you'll see I'm moving around a bunch of levers, and I'm messing with some sliders, and I'm messing with a dial. And these are components that are just components, don't require any sort of UDON. The way they work is that they modify animation controller parameters, just like an expression menu. And that would be something that you could put in a world or on an avatar.
One moment, I'm seeing a frozen stream. Gunter, you okay? Oh, okay. Well, at least you kept everything. Well, excellent. That's pretty incredible. I like that.
It's something we're experimenting with.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad to show off things that I see scroll by in the Slack channel. I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. I wonder if we'll ever put that in, or that's a cool side project. But now we can actually show these things off, and oh well, now we got to put it in. Dang, oops. So, anyways, there's also someone mentioned earlier in the chat. A couple people mentioned when Physics Bones came up. Hey, can I use these for cloth? And we are looking into creating a component specifically for cloth, because Dynamic Bones isn't for cloth. This is like one of the worst things ever. People use them for cloth and for skirt, and for skirts, it's something where it's it's born of necessity, because Unity cloth isn't super great either. But I think some of the things we've been talking about is what if we took the same approach and made our own cloth component? So
yeah, now that we've started with Physics Bones and actually writing the solver ourselves, the door is open for us to actually start looking into our own sort of cloth simulator.
Very nice, and we can also target that for hopefully Quest. We'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Cloth is a little bit more complicated, a lot more relations. So. Finally, and I think this got mentioned in the video, we also need to work on a permissions UI, just basically some kind of interface or system that allows you to say, I like Hero, he's fine, he can move around my hair, he can pose my wings around, something like that, but I don't like Ron, he keeps messing around with my hair, he keeps messing stuff up, and, stealing my wings and running away with them, which actually I guess you could probably do. So I can turn Ron off and prevent him from accessing that stuff, or allow you to access that stuff. All we're working on, keeping in mind.
This new level of interaction opens up a lot of very interesting things that people can do, but obviously, there's going to be times where you don't want people messing with you, and so one of our biggest things that we need to solve right now is how that permission model is actually going to work.
So, anyways, there's a couple more extra bits I wanted to add in there just before we finish Avatar Dynamics. Technical bits that you guys have already been asking. I've already been watching during the video. You were already asking about it. And we'll answer the question when, because I know you're asking that. First off, the Avatar Dynamic systems, aside from some limited backwards compatibility like the automatic colliders and maybe some default functionality like fist bumps and high fives and head pats, things like that, those are only going to be available in avatars 3 avatars. That's for a lot of different reasons, mostly technical, but primarily, we want you to be using the tech as we've implemented it the best way possible. This means you can't put like Physics Bones or avatar triggers on avatars 2 avatars, although again, you may have some defaults. We don't know. Haven't made those up yet. You have to use Fizzbone, the posing, and being able to touch other people's Fizzbone actual colliders. That's only going to work with Fizzbone. Dynamic Bones, if it still exists in some way, shape, or form after Fizzbone is released, won't work with it, right?
Unless we actually go with some sort of route of automatic conversion from Dynamic Bones to Fizzbones, which might actually allow that.
Yep, if that's the case, then you don't have to worry about it. You get it automatically. We're trying to see if we're going to replace Dynamic Bones. It's like one of our big focuses with this. We want it gone. However, if doing so causes too many issues, maybe we'll have to revisit that. Hopefully not. I'm hoping very strongly that we're able to do that automatic replacement. Basically what I'm trying to say is you really should use Avatars 3 avatars if you're not using them yet. You can do crazy stuff with them, and never better time than now to learn. And then finally, I'll let you answer this one. When is it?
I mean, as soon as we can. But realistically, although the actual physics bone itself is pretty far along, as I said earlier, we still have a lot of questions about how permissions are going to work and getting that rolled out so that it works with the SDK flawlessly. So we're thinking summer at this point.
Summer. Wow. Okay. So we'll have a bunch of new systems on Avatars to play with in summer. Sounds great to me. I'm not going to complain about that. So thank you very much, Kiro. I think we're going to move on to some even more features. Yeah, anytime. And do you have anything else to say to chat before you leave?
No, I hope people get excited.
Yeah, of course.